So welcome back to the Stephan Show. My name is Graham, and welcome to my show. And today we're going to have a special guest on. His name is Nerpah. He's another YouTuber who plays video games. And right now, he's making some crazy money and wants to know how to invest it. He's got a place right now that he's living in for free, and he wants to know where to put his money. So with that said, let's bring him on, see what he has to say, and we'll learn a little bit about his YouTube channel as well, and how much money he's making from that. So welcome to the Stephan Show. What's going on?
Hi, this is Brandon. I go by the online alias of Nerpah, and I am a gaming content creator here on YouTube, where I am currently posting Fortnite content. For all you gamers, you know what that is. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what it is at this point. And I've been creating content on YouTube since 2013. I was really young when I got into it. Started out as a hobby. I remember back in like 4th or 5th grade, I would make channels, quit, make a new one. And around 2014, I created the Nerpah channel, and it just stuck. And over the last few years, it went from a hobby where I was barely getting any views to now it's my full-time job. I'm making a decent amount of money for my age, and I'm enjoying every second of it, man. It's been a journey.
How much money are you making? That's what I want. I'm the Dave Ramsey now. What's your household net worth?
Net worth, I would say somewhere around 100,000. I mean,
That's awesome.
I just recently started making a decent amount of money. It's sad to say because I feel like I'm benefiting from the quarantine. I mean, you know, your views are probably up as well since the quarantine started happening. But I went from making anywhere from like maybe 8 to 10,000 a month, and then in the beginning of May, when all this stuff started happening in the U.S., it just shot up to now I'm making anywhere from 25 to around, I think 32,000 was my best month, which was last month. So it's been kind of crazy.
Wow. And so let's break this down. Is that just YouTube ad revenue, or is that ad revenue, sponsorships, affiliates?
It's a few different sources of income. So the main one is obviously the YouTube ad revenue. I'm making anywhere from $13,000 to $16,000 these last few months. That seems to be like the new average for my channel. And then Fortnite has this awesome feature. They were the first one to do it, where it's called Support a Creator. And there's like an in-game currency where people can buy V-Bucks, and then they buy skins and stuff, which cost real-life money. And if they use my code while buying those, I get a fraction of what they spent. So that's actually added up quite significantly over these last few months. It kind of directly correlates with how well my YouTube's doing. The more views I'm getting, the more people are using my code. And the earnings on that, I can't give an exact amount because it is confidential. I don't want to get in trouble with Epic Games, but I'm just going to tell you it's anywhere from like the $10,000 to $15,000 range per month. Like it's honestly almost more than my YouTube some months, which is insane to think about.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's insane. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. And how old are you?
21.
Dude, that's insane. Well done. So how can I help you? What can I do?
Well, I'm just looking for some investing advice. My parents have been well off, but they don't really invest that much. Like I feel like based off self-research that I've done, I feel like they could be doing a lot better of a job with how much they're making per year. And I don't really want to ask them because they don't have as much hands-on experience. So obviously, I'm really interested in real estate. I think you're a big part of that. When I first found your channel like a year and a half ago, I remember binge watching all your videos, and I just wanted to learn everything I could about real estate. I've read a few books, and unfortunately, I've not gotten my hands wet yet. I don't have any properties under my belt. The first thing that I was going to ask, because this seemed to be my biggest problem initially, is since I am self-employed, I don't have 2 years of tax returns yet, since YouTube just started doing really well for me this last year. So I'm not able to get pre-approved for a loan or anything. And I was going to ask if you would recommend having maybe like a parent or guardian figure co-sign a loan with me to go into my first rental property, or what are your thoughts on that?
I don't have any problem with that. I think if your parents have a good credit score, if they have the income, and they're not going to hurt you on the loan, that might make sense. The only thing is this. I think you will hurt yourself in the loan. So typically what a lender will do is if you have your parents co-sign on the loan and your name is on it, but let's say hypothetically you got a bad credit score or you're a riskier borrower, they're going to really base their loan a bit on you. So you're going to bring down that loan a little bit. Talk to a lender about it, but generally that's the case with co-signers. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, I don't have a problem with it. My first thought would be go to a bank, get pre-approved, just go through the process if your parents are willing to do that, see what rate they're willing to give you. Or all you could do is just talk to a loan broker and just say, here's my situation, here's my parents' credit score, here's my credit score, here's what they make, here's what I make, here's what I made this year. I don't have the 2 years of tax returns. I'm going to have one really good year this year. What do you recommend? And just see what they tell you. That's going to give you a lot of insight.
Okay, yeah, will do. Because I initially called to get pre-approved, and right when I told them that I didn't even have 2 years of tax returns, the lady was just like, "Nope, can't do anything for you." It was pretty much like an instant shutdown. So it was a little bit discouraging because I had so much plans. I was already looking at houses around the area I lived in, and then for that to happen, I was like, "Well, I guess I have to wait another year." So I wasn't really sure, but thank you for that insight.
You might have to wait another year, but see if your parents will co-sign with you. And as long as they have a good credit score, good income, that's doable. It just depends on your situation and what a lender looks at you as.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question I had was, since I'm not able to go into houses right away, I am accumulating a decent amount of money in savings. What do you think would be better to do? If I were to go in on my first property, would it be better if I have the money to just buy a home in cash, or buy two different houses and then only put the 20 to 30% down and get two properties under my belt initially?
What do you think? I want you to answer this one. You know what I'm going to say.
I think that just buying the house in cash would be a safer bet.
Why?
Just because, I mean, since it's my first rental, there's probably going to be a lot of room for error. I'm going to be learning a lot, and if I have it down in cash, there's not a lot of potential for me to lose money in mistakes, or if I'm not able to find a tenant right away. But I also think that getting the two houses right away would be awesome. It would increase my net worth, pretty much double, and I feel like that would just be easier to just build on top of each other and slingshot me into my next properties or whatever I'm going to do next. So,
All right, so I'll tell you, the only advantage that I see with real estate is the fact that you get to take out a mortgage. That's it. Because right now rates are so unbelievably low.
yeah.
Your only advantage there is that basically this loan gets eaten away by inflation. You get 30 years to pay it off. On a rental property, that interest that you're paying is a write-off against the rental income. So it makes sense. Like, not getting a mortgage on a rental property is a waste, and you would be better off, honestly, just investing in the stock market at that point. I've done so many comparisons in the past. I really looked into it, determining which is a better investment. Is real estate a better investment as a rental property, or stocks? And I've determined from everything that I have done, it seems like the stock market is a better investment if you buy real estate in cash. Real estate only tends to be a better investment if you're willing to put in the work and get a mortgage, at which point you could double or triple your returns than you can in the stock market. But if you're paying cash for both, then it really just makes sense. Do the stock market. It'll save you so much time, and you're not going to have to worry about having a tenant. So leverage is always the way to go with real estate. That's really the main advantage with going with real estate. The other thing is this. Getting a loan right now for an investment property is going to be very, very, very difficult. And a lot of lenders are just not giving loans on investment properties unless you pay a stupid high interest rate right now or put a lot of money down. So my thought is, if you want to buy a home, do the house hacking thing. If you could find a place that you can move into yourself, preferably a few units, you rent out a few of those units, you live in one of them yourself. That way, you're buying this place as a primary residence, you're getting some investment income on the side, and whenever you move out, now you got an investment property at a low interest rate. That would be my recommendation. Are you living with your parents right now?
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. So I've looked into that route because, I mean, just looking at it and from the sounds of it, that sounds like the way to go. But I already am technically living for free. So I live me and my brother got a house. My parents bought it. They're going to use it as a investment property later down the line because my brother attends Arizona State University. We're living based out in Tempe right now. And I'm doing ASU online just because I'm doing YouTube and streaming full time. So I don't really have a lot of time to go to classes physically. So they bought that house for us, and then what their plan was after we graduated, they were just going to use it as a rental property. Obviously, like the demand around the campus is high, so they're definitely going to get tenants. So for the time being, they said as long as I'm taking enough credits to be considered a full-time student, they're covering the rent. So I am living for free, although I'm not living with them technically.
That's the best way to house hack. Jeez. Yeah. Okay. So it makes sense then. Do not buy something. Until you need to move out and start paying rent because you're going to save more. I mean, here's the thing. You look into it for an investment property, but right now banks are not taking the risk for investment properties. The risk is that basically the tenants can stop paying rent right now. You're going to be unable to evict the tenants. You can claim mortgage forbearance, and all of a sudden the bank is screwed. So they're trying to prevent situations like that in the first place. So it's so much harder right now to get a loan for an investment property. But again, I would talk to a lender because a lot of it's going to depend on, too, the cosign situation. If your parents don't cosign for you, then what I would do is probably hold off Just maybe wait an extra year. Funnel some money into like index funds for now. Just dollar cost every week. Just buy a little bit. Buy some index funds. Save some money on the side for real estate in the future. And even if you wait an extra year and a half or whenever you file that next tax return, so be it. Real estate's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, okay. That was my thought, and that's what I'm trying to do. That was going to lead me into one of my next questions I had was, is there any exact formula that you use for like what percentage of your money goes where in terms of investments? Because obviously you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, and the more you diversify yourself, the lower risk it could be. So right now, pretty much, like I said, 25 to 30,000. I'm only giving myself around 500 to 750 a month to spend. So I just try to put that there, and then I put the rest in a high yield savings account, and I put around 2,000 a month into my stock portfolio. And I try to live off that 500 just to save as much as I can. Would there be any other areas that you would see I should be putting my money in or to diversify more? Or
I think that's fantastic. So 2,000 a month, you said, goes to stocks. How much is the remainder? The remainder just goes high interest savings. So I'm guessing that's got to be like 10,000 after tax.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's the money that I plan on later down the line using for down payments and real estate stuff. So.
Okay. I mean, honestly, if you want to bump up the stock market contribution to like 25, fine. But I think if the end goal is to buy real estate, I don't think you can't go wrong with what you're doing. As long as you're saving that amount of money and the end goal for that saved money is to buy real estate, I don't see any problem. The only problem I would see is if you decide later on down the line you don't want real estate no more, and you had this cash sitting for like 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing I could think
of.
That's really the only thing. But if you're saving up for a good deal and real estate is the end goal, I don't see any problem with what you're doing.
Okay, awesome. And then one last question I have. If you could go back in time to when you were very beginning, just your investing journey, real estate journey, what is one piece of advice that you'd give yourself that would probably save you tons of headaches and tons of problems later down the line that you've learned now?
Yeah. To always smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and get your 2 free stocks down below in the description because Webull is going to give you 2 free stocks with a value all the way up to $1,400.
That's what I thought you'd say.
No, let's see. Let me think about this for a second. I honestly, I mean, I really hadn't made that many mistakes. I would say, gosh, part of me says like I should have been investing more in the stock market, but every piece of real estate I bought, I don't regret those decisions. All of them did well. I would say, I don't know, recently I probably held too much in cash because I've been looking for a good real estate deal and I should have been investing more money in the stock market. That's the only thing that I could think of at this point that I was like, in hindsight, probably better to invest more in the stock market at this point. But that's the only piece of advice that I would give myself. Earlier than that, it was just like not getting a credit card soon enough. So I wish I had built credit sooner.
Yeah, okay.
And gotten those 2 free stocks in the description.
Okay, yeah.
All right, yeah, that's good. So pretty much just don't put too much away for real estate because it's just gonna sit there it could sit there for too long. And
I guess
miss out.
A little bit. I mean, in my situation, I was just saving too much and not investing it. Like I was sitting on way too much cash because I was like, what if the best real estate deal comes up? And then it's just like I have not found a deal in a while. So now all this cash has been sitting up, and I'm looking at like I could have been investing all that money in the stock market. So maybe the stock market could have gone down. So this is all this in hindsight based on the last like year. So
okay.
I mean it's who knows what's going to continue in the future.
Okay. And also, do you play any video games yourself?
I don't.
Dang, I was gonna say we could squat up. I can show you the ropes.
Maybe I don't have time for video games. The only video game I see is the algorithm. That to me is my video game. Trying to pick which title and thumbnail. But otherwise,
that could be a tough one. That could be a tough one sometimes.
Yeah. Do you ever get tired of playing the same game over and over again? Fortnite.
Sometimes it does get a little boring. It just depends. Like the game that I focus on is Fortnite, and it's been out for almost 3 years now, but they're constantly doing updates to the game to keep it fresh. There is a few moments where it gets a little stale, and sometimes it feels like a chore to get on and make a video. But for the most part, they keep it fresh. I mean, they literally just dropped a huge update earlier this morning. So I'm going to be streaming later today, and it should be fun to check everything out. So, I mean, it's still pretty exciting sometimes.
What do you think is after Fortnite?
Honestly, if I had to pick the next big thing in terms of the video game content creation community, I'd probably say GTA 6, because that's a very anticipated game, and GTA 5 came out, like 6 or 7 years ago, so it's been years since they released a new one, and those titles are always behemoths in the community, so I'm sure that'll do really well.
Cool. Well, good luck on everything, man. Really appreciate it, and congrats on all the success.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the advice as well.
You're welcome. Good luck. Keep us posted.
I will do.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Also, feel free to add me on Instagram. I post it pretty much daily. So if you want to be a part of it there, feel free to add me there. As on the Iced Coffee Hour podcast, new episodes being posted every single Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And lastly, like I mentioned, if you guys want your 2 free stocks, use the link down below in the description. Webull is going to be giving you 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 on the platform, with one of those stocks potentially worth all the way up to $1,400. So if you want those 2 free stocks, use that link down below. Let me know which 2 free stocks you get. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.